I hope you guys are having a great afternoon so far. What I'm here to talk about today has impacted every single person in this room. If you're a younger member in the audience, you've probably imagined growing up to be an astronaut or a footballer. If you're a teenager, you've probably imagined life without college or homework. If you're an adult, you've probably imagined life without stress or financial burden. And if you already haven't guessed what I'm here to talk about, it's imagination. And well, we could be here for hours talking about how powerful imagination is, and it still wouldn't do it justice. The best way to evaluate the power of imagination is to, well, imagine. So let's take a couple of seconds. If everyone in this room could please close their eyes for a couple of seconds. All right. If you have your eyes closed, I want you to take a deep breath and open your mind. I want you to try and think of your favorite food. It could be something that your mother prepares. It could be something you've eaten at a restaurant. It could be anything. I want you to try and remember what it looks like. Imagine it as if it's right in front of you. Think of every ingredient, every flavor. Think of what it looks like. Try to remember what it smells like. Now I want you to imagine to pick this plate up and take a gigantic bite of this food. All right, I see a couple of smiles across this room. If you could please open your eyes now. Please don't get up just yet. There'll be plenty of time for lunch post this. The whole precedent of this exercise, however, was to reinforce the power of imagination. Not only were you able to visualize, smell, taste, but you were able to feel what it felt like the last time you ate this food. Our brains are a beautiful machine. In fact, a recent study by Nature Communications, a well-published journal, stated that the average human being processes close to 6,000 thoughts a day. 6,000. That's a huge number. And that includes each and every one of you. This helps us establish a fundamental fact. Imagination is omnipresent. Each and every one of us is capable of imagining. However, this beautiful gift of imagination comes with a caveat. As easy and common as imagination is, equally sparse is the ability to extract value from it. And why wouldn't it? You're going through 6,000 thoughts a day. How do you identify something of value from something that's just trivial? And this question intrigued me quite a bit. How do you identify, how do you extract value from imagination? And the more time I spent evaluating this question, I came to a realization that this question isn't as hard to answer as it seems. Let me start by giving you a couple of examples. Facebook was imagined by Mark Zuckerberg because he felt networking at his university could be better. Reed Hastings imagined Netflix because he was charged a late fee on a movie rental. Uber was imagined by its founders because they were not able to find a cab service on a trip to Paris. And I keep using the word imagined because these problems existed. They existed for all of us. But it was these three highly imaginative individuals who were able to not only identify a problem, imagine a solution, but make it a reality. The other common trait amongst these three individuals is that they were passionate about solving a problem. They imagined a world in which these problems didn't exist. And it brought me to a realization that imagination is the closest instrument we have to a perfect world. And as I studied more about imagination and looked into cases similar to this, I came across a pattern that highly imaginative individuals follow. And I tried to compile all the data and present it in the form of a constructive roadmap, a roadmap you can follow to turn any thought that you have into reality. Let's look at this roadmap through the lens of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. The first step is to identify the problem. And as I stated earlier, Mr. Zuckerberg felt that networking at his university could be better. The second step requires you to see if the solution is realistic, attainable, or required. Luckily for Mr. Zuckerberg, he had the perfect opportunity to do so. I'm sure everybody in the audience has heard of Facebook, but Facebook was originally called FaceMash. It was founded in 2003 by Mr. Zuckerberg and his roommates, and it essentially was a trickle-down version of most dating apps today. You saw a fellow student, and if you liked each other's profiles, you could connect. And in the sole 2 days of its existence, FaceMash gathered around 450 profiles with 22,000 unique likes. And this case study was enough for Mark Zuckerberg to realize that not only was the solution realistic, but it was required. Moving on to the third step, do you have the skill set and resources to make this idea a reality? Luckily for Mr. Zuckerberg, he was fortunate yet again. He started to learn how to code at the naive age of 10. He also happened to attend one of the finest educational institutions in the world. So he definitely had the resources and skill set to make this imagination a reality. The last step is hard work, dedication, and resilience, which in my opinion is the easiest part of this chart. Why I feel this is the easiest part of the chart? If you look at things from a neutral perspective, whether you're a laborer at a construction site, whether you're somebody who works a 9-to-5 job, or whether you're a CEO at a firm, hard work, dedication, and resilience is just a part of every job in today's day and age. However, everybody follows step 4. They lack the ability to look through the first 3 steps. And this takes me back to something I said earlier today. Imagination is everywhere, but the ability to extract value from it is extremely rare. So this was a journey of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, and you might argue that this flowchart is highly theoretical, and the examples I stated are really overwhelming. But I can vindicate the fact that this flowchart works. I have tried and tested it personally. Let me share with you a first-hand account. Growing up, unfortunately, you don't have much control over the clothes you wear. Your parents pick your clothes for you, and more often than not, they look a little something like this. They have names of states you've never visited, years brands were established in, decades before you were born, and even the brand name slapped up front, which means nothing to you. And before I move on to the next slide, I want to re-emphasize how dedicated I am to the cause. I'm willing to humiliate myself to show you how powerful imagination is. These are 3 of the least embarrassing photos I could find of myself growing up, but they do back my theory. If you look at these photos closely, you will see brand names, you will see states, you will see words that have absolutely no relation to me. And this was the first step of my journey, identifying the problem. See, I think of clothes like semi-permanent tattoos. You wouldn't get a tattoo of something you don't want to represent or you don't feel proudly about. Clothes are honestly one of the first few things people notice about you before they have the opportunity to get to know you or to talk to you. So my entire teenage life, I grew up wearing drab and bland clothing quite like this. In fact, it became quite the humorous situation. My family and friends thought I was one of those characters who had the same black t-shirt every day. But this helped me move to the second part of my journey. Was the solution for this realistic? Was it required? And the more I researched and tried to find a brand that created clothes with purpose, with more than just the value of the fabric, to my fortune, I was not able to find anything similar to this. And it nudged me to the third part of my journey. Did I have the skill set and resources? Well, unfortunately, I'm not Mark Zuckerberg, and I didn't have the skill set and resources. I came from a commerce background, and I wanted to move into a fashion and design space. But I was presented with quite the interesting opportunity. I had 2 years of free time during the lockdown, and I had absolutely no excuse. So I looked up every single video that existed on YouTube, learned everything there is to learn about design and fashion. I mastered Photoshop, Illustrator, Procreate, and any other software that came my way. So I managed to move past the third step, hard work, dedication, and resilience. And I'm proud to say that I managed to reach the fourth and final step, which is bringing it to reality. STRANGE is an abbreviation. It stands for street and change. It's because we want to change the conventional way clothes are made in. These 4 use cases are just quick examples to show you what is it we exactly do. The first photo is from a collection, Can't Sleep. It's inspired by individuals who have anxiety and insomnia. The second photo is from a drop called Emotions. It's weird how we feel millions of different emotions but don't know how to put it into words, hence the question mark. And every single letter is an emoji, so it's emotions written in various emotions. The third article is one of my favorites, Work in Progress. It's inspired by individuals who are constantly working on making themselves a better version. And the last is a recent collaboration with Yoda. Yoda is a non-profit organization that helps diseased and injured animals. A part of every single sale went to Yoda to help them assist and aid these animals. The reason I took you through this journey is to is so that when you leave this room today, you have absolutely no excuse. See, I come from a humble background. I've been a mediocre student my entire life. And if I was able to take something that was just an imagination and make it into a 7-figure business, so can each and every one of you. The other reason I took you through this journey is to validate my roadmap, which I love dearly. Let's look at this roadmap once again. The beauty of this roadmap is not only does it apply to any business you want to start, it can help you be a better individual, it can help your relationships, and it can help you be more productive. You might be wondering what I'm talking about. Let me take you through another example. I promise this is the last. Imagine you're somebody who is battling an addiction. What is the first step? Identifying the problem. So if you're somebody who is battling an addiction, you need to acknowledge that this problem exists. The second step is the solution required? Is it attainable? Is it realistic? Imagine your life without this addiction. Is it better? Is it something that is required? Do you imagine yourself being better? If yes, then you move on to the third step. Do you have the resources and skill set to fight this problem? Imagine yourself battling this addiction. Do you require to speak to somebody? Can you do this by yourself? Is there some help you need to seek? After you've identified and imagined how you can solve this problem, you move on to the final step and fight this addiction in reality. And that's the beauty of this flowchart. It can apply to anything in life. It can help you start a business, become a better version of yourself. For me personally, imagination and this flowchart has helped me skip the 9-to-5 monotony. It's helped me imagine myself as a better individual every day and work toward making that a reality. And weirdly, it's helped me go from organizing a TED Talk 4 years ago to be able to give one today. Thank you so much.